I'm going to pray and then I'm going to recap. Okay, I'm going to recap what we've been doing these past couple weeks. All right, so go ahead, bow your heads, close your eyes. I'll pray, and then we'll get into it. All right, thank you, Father, for allowing us to be in here. Father, I ask that you would just slow down the pace, slow down the pace of our hearts and our minds, of everything we have going on around us, so that we could just tune in to what you have to say today. Father, I pray that you would just soften our hearts to your word. I ask that what you say to us will remain with us after we leave this room, that the words I preach would not be heard as my own words, Father, but that they would be heard as your words, Father. I pray that this room would just be filled with reverence towards you and all towards you. I pray this all in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen. All right, so recap. For those of you who haven't been here, for those of you who've been here, for 5 weeks, we've been in a sermon series titled Somos, which, for the no sabos, like me, Somos means we are. So we've been uncovering and diving into what Jesus says we are and who Jesus says we are, about, and what he says about his church. Last week we went over Matthew 25, where Jesus compares his church to a bride and himself to a bridegroom. That was a strong word that marked the end of our series. So Somos series is done. It's dead. Just kidding. If you want to watch those sermons back, I recommend you do. The last bridegroom series sermon, we had 5 people in here, I think, if I remember correctly, and it was a really strong word that I think is important for everyone to know. The quality of the audio and the video are bad. This is an iPhone 12, and it is broken. The back looks like the Terminator guy after he got shot, and his face was just like robot, anyways, so it's not the best watch, but if you just listen to it in the car, I listen to sermons while I'm getting ready. I listen to sermons while I'm on my way to school on the bus. So if you want to do that, you could go ahead and do that. I think that's the best time to listen to it. You can even listen to it while walking in the halls if you have YouTube Premium and you're all fancy. But it's on my YouTube. You can get in touch with me if you don't have my YouTube. It's linked under my Instagram. If you check the Somos page, you should find my Instagram somewhere there. But breaking off from our series today, we will uncover a topic that is widely heard of, but still not well known. Something you may have thought you knew. You may have heard it phrased as pressing in, or staying planted, or running your race, or fighting the fight. Hundreds of ways of speaking it, preaching it, and phrasing it. Yet, according to a study in 2023, 91% of what's going on? You too. As you guys get to know people, as you guys get to know each other, you'll find that these two are like double trouble. They're like, they come as one, but just stop. Just stop. Anyways, hundreds of ways of speaking it, preaching it. Yet, according to a study in 2023, so within the last 5 years, 91% of Christians struggle with this thing. Just Christians. 91%. Today we'll learn not only what this thing is, but how we can actually achieve it. Consistency. The steady, repeated action or adherence to principles over time. Something every person should desire. It transforms small habits into significantly long-term success, prioritizing continuous efforts over perfection. Something that sounds so good, yet 95% of all people, not just Christians, 95% of people struggle with it. 95% of people struggle with consistency. The Bible tells story on top of story, testimonies on top of testimonies of people being consistent. Joseph, who throughout Genesis stayed faithful to God even through slavery, temptation, and prison. Noah, who obeyed God and built the ark over the course of many years despite ridicule from others. Paul, who after his conversion to Christianity in the book of Acts, spent years traveling, preaching, and writing letters despite beatings, persecution, and again, imprisonment. Wow. For all these people, their paths of consistency did not begin until this, our first point. It did not begin until they did this one very thing, which was commit. So if you're taking notes, write that down. Commit. One thing I hate, and I don't hate a lot of things. Well, okay. One thing I hate is that I hate how normalized it has become to say, I'll do it later. or I'll get to it in a bit, or I'll do it tomorrow. For a lot of us, the only consistent thing in our lives is our procrastination. And I know that's true because I've seen it. I've been there. I've been in that position where I'm putting things to the side. I'll do it later. I'll get to it in a bit. Every day, I'll turn it in next week. I'll study later. We live comfortable. Not only is it the same repeated actions, it is the same repeated results. Low grades, again. Stuck, again. Distant, again. And in this repetition of losses, the little wins we do find are enough to cover up the defeat we are actually taking so people don't see the place we're actually in. In Revelation chapter 3, verse 1, Jesus says this, I know your deeds. You have a reputation. Pause. Reputations are built from repetition. Keep that in mind. Reputation is built from repetition. Reputations are built from repetition. I know your deeds. You have a reputation of being alive, but you are dead. Verse 2 says, so wake up. And there's an exclamation point. You don't often find exclamation points, especially, well, you'll find them coming from Christ, but most of the time you find question marks in the Bible. So when you find an exclamatory phrase, it's very important that you pay attention, especially when it's coming from Christ. He says, wake up. I'll yell it. Jesus is calling people out of our lack of commitment. Wake up. Stop acting like you're okay. You've been stuck in the same loop for years because you refuse to wake up to the fact that something needs to change. Before Noah's decades of work on the ark, he had to decide to obey. Before Paul's years of teaching, he had to have an encounter with Christ where he asked, Lord, what should I do? Or what do you want me to do? And if you continue to do what I want you to write this down. This is something that is so important to me in my life, and I feel like if you don't get this, you don't get change at all. If you continue to do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. If you continue to do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. Something needs to change. And it all starts with a choice. Consistency is only possible when you choose to commit, when you say yes, when you make that choice. Paul was stopped in his tracks. He had an encounter with Christ and asked, what do you want me to do? There was a decision within him that said, I want to go from this life to the next. Paul was rebellious towards Christ. He persecuted Christians and people who believed in the coming king. And he made a choice to differ from that lifestyle, change that lifestyle, contrast that lifestyle, and committed by saying, what do you want me to do? Noah, in the book of Genesis chapter 6, I think, I might be wrong. In Noah's instance where he made the choice to obey, it says that Noah obeyed all God commanded him. In a place where he was doubting, in a place where it would have been ridiculed to say that it was going to rain, to say that water was going to come, to say that the world would flood. Noah obeyed all God commanded and built the ark. Consistency is only possible. A path of consistency is only possible when you make the choice to commit, to say yes. And no one will commit for you. God is calling you, and no one can answer that call on your behalf. You need to be so sick of the repetition you are stuck in that you commit to another path. For me, it looked a lot like I was sick of being depressed. I was sick of chasing fulfillment in things like drugs, fornication, lust. And I had gotten so sick of that path that I committed to a different one. After Jesus says, wake up in Revelation chapter 3, verse 2, he says, strengthen what little remains and is about to die, for I have found your deeds unfinished. In order to keep and achieve consistency, this is point number 2, you need to contend. After Joseph committed to God, also in the book of Genesis, he faced betrayal, slavery, and prison. He had to contend temptation, which the word contend means to fight or to wrestle with. He had to contend temptation, injustice, and bitterness. Paul contended with imprisonment and false accusations. Noah contended against ridicule. All these people committed to change. But some point after that commitment took place, each of them were hit. They were hurt. They were knocked down. Life told them they couldn't, that they shouldn't, and that they wouldn't. At some point, it got hard for these people. It got hard for them to keep consistent, to keep in consistency. I've been there as well, and I know you have too. Sometimes our commitment fades because we feel we can't contend, like there's no fight left in us. There's several times in my life, where are my crutches? This has been a huge thing of an instance of being hit, being hurt, being knocked down on this topic of fighting. When you get hit, when you get hurt, or when you get put down, it's substantial. It does something to you. It changes you. In a fight, if you, hopefully not, I pray you've never been in a fight, but if you've ever been hit, most of you guys have siblings. If you've ever been hit, sometimes you're hit hard enough to be like, wow, okay, that did something. Maybe it puts you down. Maybe you can't see. If you've ever had a black eye, getting hit does stuff to you. I've been there. I also lost count. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to pause. And sometimes that commitment we made before will fade away because we don't know what it's like to get hit. Or maybe we get hit like we've been hit before and we're tired of taking these punches. But Jesus said, wake up, strengthen what remains. I found your deeds unfinished. Christ is saying that you are not done. God is pleading with you that just because you got knocked down in your walk does not mean you're knocked out of the fight. I don't know who needs to hear this, but I know that this was for me when I was writing this. You need to pick your gloves up. Yes, I'm teaching you what consistency is, but it is so important it's so important for you to learn how you actually can achieve it. You need to pick your gloves up. There's been so many instances in my life where I've experienced this, but for a lot of us, it could sound like this. The depression hit. The anxiety dazed you. The lust kicked you. The anger stumbled you. The pride knocked you back. Fill in the blank, put you on the canvas. You need to pick your gloves up. Getting hit hard doesn't mean your fight is over. It just means it's time to realize and acknowledge the fact that you're actually in a fight. In this life, I don't know if it's the book of Galatians, I might be very wrong, where it says that we do not wrestle with flesh and blood, but principalities, which means we have opposition from not the things of this world, but things of evil, things of Satan. Satan is on a one-way mission to try and get you to quit, to try and get you to fail, to try to keep you inconsistent. There's no coincidence that 95% of all human beings struggle with consistency. That 5% of a growing amount of 8 billion people struggle with consistency, or don't struggle with consistency. And it is 95 of that grand number that struggle with consistency. There is no coincidence. And for a lot of Christians, their walk looks like getting hit and walking out the ring, getting hit and throwing out the towel, getting hit and succumbing to the injuries and saying, I quit, tapping out, submitting. For a lot of believers, a large percentage of people who have committed to Christ leave the church. Why? Because they get hit and they refuse to acknowledge the fact that they're actually in a fight and that they can fight back. If you heard me talking up there, which hopefully you did, that microphone was loud. I could hear myself. It felt really weird. I was hit, knocked down. I was training. I had a boxing match scheduled in April where I would have fought in front of 2,500 people at one of the biggest colleges in the state. I was training my butt off, bro. Like, if you know me and you text me, then you know. Like, you know. I was invested. I was fighting my fight. I was running my race. I was pressing in. I was being consistent. And I got hit. I was playing PE basketball. Yeah, I know. It sucks. And I bent down Literally, I was about to jump. I crossed some dude up, stepped in for a lay. I was about to jump up and lay it up. Right, Abby? Is my form good? Abby plays basketball. I was doing my thing, PE basketball. They called me the school shooter. They do not call me that. That's a joke. But I was feeling myself. I was consistent. I had put up 3 points that game out of 30 shots. That's all right. Let's get serious. I was pressing in, going for the layup. I thought I had it. I had just crossed one dude up. Freaking Shaquille O'Neal was on the floor. I just broke his ankles stepping in. About to lay it up, bent my knee, and I went down. There's a group of people pulling out their phones because I yelled. My friend said he heard a pop. I didn't hear it because I yelled so loud. And there I sat on the floor crying. Essentially, yeah. I mean, I'd assume. Yeah. we could do post game interview questions after the post game or whatever. I just spilled. I got hit. Jeez, I'm making a fool of myself. I got hit hard. One-way path to probably the best stepping stone to being a professional or amateur fighter anyone could ask for. Fighting on the cover of a suicide foundation where you're raising money to prevent suicide. And I would have been on the main card. And they contacted me the day I was in the hospital. Hey, we're setting you up to fight at 135 pounds for the main card. Are you ready? Hey, I got hit. I blew out my ACL. I can't move. I can't bend my knee. I can't train. I can't fight. There's nothing left in me to keep moving forward. One quote that applies to this that I've been living by for the longest time. If you've heard my sermon about contention, then you know what I'm talking about. It's a quote from a boxing movie, funny enough. The movie Rocky. Rocky Balboa says this: you, me, or nobody is going to hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. You cannot keep consistency unless you contend. You need to fight for it. You are going to get hit. You are going to get put down. You do not hit as hard as you think you do. The devil hits a lot harder than you think. Lust will put you down. Anxiety will put you down. Anger will put you down. Frustration will put you down. You will be sitting on the canvas wondering how you got there. And in that moment, in that time where you are down, that is not the time to exit the ring. That is the time to pick your gloves up and contend. Fight. And I say this with frustration because I'm tired of seeing believers walk out of the church because someone told them to throw in the towel. Told them, oh man, you lost a relative. Yeah, you could step away. Oh man, you're having suicidal thoughts. Step away. Oh man, you don't feel good enough for the church. Step away. You need to press in. Pick your gloves up. Protect yourself. Get back in the fight. Every moment you've heard fighters where they're down in a fight, where they're losing. You'll hear their corner, their coach and their cutman telling them, you need to fight. You need to contend. You got put down bad in this last round. This next round, bring it. You need to get back up. And when they get hit again, because you will get hit again. I've been put down several times aside from this. I've had like 4 concussions in the past 5 years. And yes, I was going to do a boxing match. How dumb of me, right? But I've been put down. That didn't stop me. I kept moving forward. This didn't stop me. I'll be fighting in December. I don't have a confirmed date, time, or anything, but I promise I will. Because I know I can. You can get back up. Whatever you were doing, where you got put down, you can get back up. And you can fight again. It sounds like a motivational TED Talk. But I'm tired of seeing people walk out of the doors of the church, leaving their Bible in the church, leaving their Bible on a desk where it just collects dust. Because someone didn't tell them to fight. Someone didn't tell them they can get back in. Someone didn't tell them to stay in the ring. It is not about how hard you can hit. It is about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How hard you can contend for consistency. All the biblical figures like Joseph, Paul, and Noah were consistent. This consistency didn't just require them to commit. It didn't just require them to contend. It also required them to crucify. Not literal death, but crucifying their old selves, denying personal desires, comfort, or selfish impulses. All in order to stay faithful and consistent. Can someone give me a time check? Please. Thank you, Alexa. 3:25. Oh, wow. We're going to have a lot of time. Good, because we're going to play Bible Imposter. In the book of Joel, a prophet, Joel, writes to Israel in their comfort that made them inconsistent. In chapter 2, verse 12, God instructs us on this key piece of consistency. Joel chapter 2, verse 12 through 13. Even now, declares the Lord, return to me with all your heart, with fasting and weeping and mourning. Rend your heart and not your garments. Return to the Lord your God, for he is gracious and compassionate. Return, fasting, weeping, mourning. Rend your heart. What is he saying? I didn't want to spell that time. What is Christ saying? Return, fasting, weeping, mourning, rend your heart, which in this time when they were distraught, when they were depressed, when they were anxious, when they were afraid, when there was a significant time of distrtrouble. Distrtrouble, is that a word? Is that a word? No? Trouble? Significant time of trouble. Say that. Oh, well. There we go, Alexa. They would tear their clothes as a sign of their mourning. And God is saying, don't tear your garments. Rend your heart. Tear your heart. What is he saying? Break the old you. Deprive your flesh of what it wants and get vulnerable with God. We struggle so much with saying yes to a consistent godly life because we don't know how to tell ourselves no. Rend your heart. Break the old you. Matthias, could you click close on that right there just in case it's stopping my audio? What up, smelly boy? Break the old you. Commit. You're changing that path. Contend. You're fighting to keep that path. What was the last one? Anyone remember? What was the last one? So it's commit, contend. Goodness. Guys. Some people can't remember. Crucify. Crucify. Commit. Contend. Crucify. Break the old you. The thing that is holding you back. The reason that you have these glimpses. Oh man, I'm doing so good. I'm hot right now. And then a day later, you're stuck again. Distant again. Bad grades again. Lost again. Frustrated again. Angry again. Lustful again. Tired again. Is because the old you keeps showing up. It keeps showing up. And it keeps showing up more consistently than that new version of you can get a chance and get a grasp on your life. The old you has so much power over you right now, whether you realize it or not. Most teenagers are in a position, most Christian teenagers are in a position where they may have had a point of transition in their lives where they committed to Christ, but their old selves has such a hold on their lives that we see more of that than that new version that Christ talks about. How do we contend against the old version of ourselves? How do we crucify the old version of ourselves, our old selves? Return to God and fast. Deny your flesh. When you fast, which true fasting is not, oh, I'm not going to scroll on TikTok today. That's my fast. That's not fasting. Biblical fasting is denying your flesh of what it desires most, which is food, nourishment. Denying your physical body of what it desires the most. When you're bored, what do? You eat. When you're stressed, what do? You eat. When you're out and about, you eat. When you're not out and about, you eat. When you're watching a movie, you eat. When you're not watching a movie, you eat. Your body desires that the most. Fast. Deny your physical body of what it desires most. I promise you, it is not your spiritual self saying, oh, I gotta go get Chipotle. Oh, I gotta order crumble. Oh, I gotta go to the gas station and pick up my snacks. No, that is your flesh speaking. That is your body speaking. That is your body saying, feed me, nourish me. Deny your flesh of what it desires most. Learn to tell yourself no. If you've never done a diet, try one. So many people are in the habit of telling themselves yes, gratifying themselves. Yes, I'm going to eat this. Yes, I'm going to eat that, drink that, smoke this. And if you've never been in a position, most athletes know that maybe your coach advises you less carbs or just no sugars, which the less carbs thing is a whole bunch of nonsense. You should be carb loading if you're a high force athlete. Different topic. But you know that you have to tell yourself no. You might even have to tell your mom, sorry mom, I can't eat that. She made what did we eat the other day? Mom made beans, she made eggs, but the beans had like weenie in it, and it was like, it was good, right? It was amazing. And I wanted to eat a lot of it, but I can't work out, so I had to tell myself, no, I can't eat that much. I had to tell myself, no. I had to tell my mom, sorry mom, I can't eat that. Today, my mom made a burrito, which I wasn't gonna eat it. I was gonna tell her no, but it vanished out of nowhere. I don't know where it went, and my dad got mad at me for not eating it. I was like, I don't know where it went, so it's not my fault. Anyways, I'm getting so sidetracked thinking about food. See, but I had to tell myself, no, fast. Deprive your flesh of what it desires most. When you fast, in the Bible, they would not fast for an hour a day. They would not fast for 3 hours a day. They would fast for days at a time. And a lot of people, if you're in relationships, maybe your boyfriend or girlfriend will tell you, but you have to eat. Please eat for me. I've heard it. I've heard it. It's bad. And please, if your girlfriend or boyfriend is preventing you from fasting, block them. I'm joking. You don't have to do that. But if they're telling you to eat, you have to learn to tell them no. You have to get in the habit of denying yourself, saying, no, I'm not going to eat that. No, I'm not going to drink this for a day. And that fasting brings you closer to God. It doesn't just weaken you. It doesn't just slim you down. It doesn't just de-bloat you. It brings you closer to God because you're denying yourself and choosing Him. Weep. That's second command. With weeping, weep, which is get serious. When do you cry? When do you shed tears? Most of the time it's over a serious issue. Sometimes it's over something minor. But when you are emotionally involved with something, it is important to you. Weep. Get serious about Christ. You want to get rid of the old you? Get serious about Him. Weep. There needs to be some kind of emotional connection between you and the Lord. A lot of people will tell you, oh, it's not about emotion. It's about, just doing what He says. And that's when this whole relationship religion contrast comes into play. There needs to be some of you that is emotionally attached to God. David was so emotionally attached. He was always talking about how bad he felt about himself to God, but how good he felt God was, how abandoned he felt at times, but how good he knew God was. There was emotional distraught, but there was connection. You do not have to be happy with God. Be angry with Him. Be sad with Him. Be frustrated with Him. But get serious and get connected with Him. So weep with Christ. Mourn. This part of mourning. Cry over your own sin. There's been several times where I've been in positions where I know better, but I don't do better. I know what I should do, but I don't do. The book of Romans talks about that. I love Romans 7. I know what I should do, but I don't do it. And what I know I shouldn't do, I do. Do? Sorry. I do. Gosh, I gotta grow up. I do that thing that I know I shouldn't do. You need to mourn your sin. You need to be in a position where you hate it. Sin will continue to take over your path of consistency if you don't consistently put yourself in a position where you hate it. You need to bring your sin out before God. God, I hate being angry. God, I hate being lustful, like a towel, like you're just draining it out. I hate being lustful. I hate being angry. I hate being prideful. I hate hating others. I hate not loving my neighbor. I hate not being consistent. I hate not being faithful. I hate my sin. I hate my sin like you hate my sin. I hate the sin of the world. I hate it. And when you learn to hate the old version of you, which is sinful, when you learn to hate these old things that you did, these old habits, which so many people are in love with, oh man, I gotta get back to the old me. This summer, I used to be popping. It is gonna be a hot boy summer for me, Or girls, y'all do that too. I'm not calling anybody out. Chill, don't look at me, Alexa. Looking at me like like you're about to yell at me. I'm sorry. But we do that a lot. We look back on our old selves like, oh yeah, I gotta get that back. Like I gotta get back my swag. Your swag was lustful. Your swag was in 3 relationships at once. Your swag was DMing girls. Oh, you up in the middle of the night. You don't gotta get that back. You gotta kill it. You gotta get rid of it. You gotta hate it. It keeps coming up because you're in love with it. You need to mourn over your sin. Man, I hated the old me. I hated talking to women that way. I hated doing drugs. I hated hiding this from my parents. I hated talking bad about people behind their backs. I hated having FaceTime calls where I would gossip over and over again. I hated keeping people out of my life. I hated keeping my parents out of my life. I hated not hindering to their instruction and their discipline. I hated not heeding to my parents' command. I hate it. I hate it. I hate the sin in my life. I hate my addiction. I hate my lust. I hate my anger, my frustration with people. I hate it. I hate it. Mourn. Get serious. Get vulnerable with God about your sin. Rend your heart. This last bit. Crucify your old ways. Resist. 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 It'll come up again. They'll text again. She'll DM you again. She'll add you back again. He'll add you back again. The ex will come looking again. The ex will be bored in summer again. The ex will have gotten his license and be able to drive and be looking for a link again. Kill it. You need to resist. You need to say, no, that is not who I am anymore. Resistance is often and almost always found at the heart of what that person is. When a person resists meat, they're vegan. When a person resists to eat anything else other than fish, pescatarian. Person resists to eat unhealthy foods, they're likely a fitness person. Someone who resists to eat healthy foods, probably like a food blogger. Resistance is found in identity. When something comes to oppose you, tell that thing who you are now, not who you were then. Give them the new version of you, not the old version of you. Stop entertaining it. Stop entertaining that message. Stop, oh, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I should. No, that is not who I am anymore. I'm not that lustful person. I'm not that person you can link with. I'm not that person who's easygoing or going easily in this case. That's not who I am. I'm not that person anymore. No, I'm not going to smoke that. No, I don't want to hit it. No, I don't want to drink it. No, I don't want to blinker. I'm good. That hurts my lungs and my throat. I've been there. No, I don't want to keep cussing. No, I don't want to do this. No, I don't want to hang out with you there. No, I don't want to go there. Resist. That is not who you are anymore. Change came when you made the commitment. Change is coming when you contend. And when you crucify, you get rid of that old version of you. I know there's so many people who are dying to live a life free of their old selves. It keeps coming up. That lust, that anger, that frustration, that addiction, and you just want to be free. You need to kill it. You need to kill the old you by resisting that isn't who you are anymore. I don't know who I am, Michael. Tell me. Read. You don't know who to tell that person you are anymore? You don't know how to say, oh, I'm different. What do you mean you're different? What changed? You don't know how? Read. Read. And we're going to get to how you can say it moving forward. No, I'm not going to scroll another hour. No, I'm not going to wait until the end of the day to pray. No, I'm not going to wait until the end of the day to do my devotional. No, I'm not going to settle with just clicking on the Bible app, seeing that flame check and getting my daily verse in. No, it's not enough for me anymore. That's not who I am. No, I'm not going to click on this website. No, I'm not going to judge them. No, I'm not going to text them. No, I'm not going to turn this in late. No, I'm not going to wait until the last minute to do my assignment. I'm different now. I'm consistent. I'm contending. I'm committed. Commit, contend, crucify. That is how you get and stay consistent. Churches will tell you, just press into the Lord. Just lock in with Jesus. Just fight the fight. Just run your race. Just endure. Endure in the faith. They'll tell you that. How do I get consistent? Commit to what? Christ. You have no idea. You have no purpose in your life. I don't know what I'm doing after high school. I don't know what I'm doing after my gap year. I've got no clue. I've got a job, but I don't know where I'm going. I've got money, but I don't know where I'm going. You need to commit to a path. Change happens when you say no to one thing and yes to another. Yes to Christ. Yes to the church. Yes to Christianity. Yes to serving. Yes to following. Yes to believing. Yes to being here. Yes to inviting other people. Promo. Commit. Commit. Commit to Christ. Are they done?
Her name is Emily. Can everybody say hi?
Hi, Emily.
So this is a group. What's the age group here?
Middle school all the way to high school, and some college people if they're down.
Whenever you're ready, you can come on and have a fun. Okay. Alrighty, just wanted to.
Bye, Emily. Thanks for coming by. Commit. Commit. Say yes. Yes to Christ. No to you. Contend. You've gotten put down. This summer is going to hit hard. Testing times for school are going to hit hard. You're going to want to do this. You're going to want to do that. You need to fight. And it sounds cliche. It sounds typical, like, oh, let's fight for Christianity. No, you need to fight for your livelihood. Something is attacking the very being that you are. The very livelihood you possess that was given to you by Christ. You need to fight to survive. You get put down. Get back up and pick your gloves up, please. I'm asking you, pleading with you. People walk away from the faith, and I hate seeing it happen. I was that person because I didn't pick my gloves back up. I didn't realize I could take these shots. I didn't realize that, oh, maybe I can walk in. Maybe I can get to work. Maybe I can throw my own punches. Maybe I can get back up. Maybe the fight isn't over for me. You need to realize that now. That just because you got hit doesn't mean the fight is over for you. It's just a wake-up call like, yo, we're in this thing. Yo, snap into it. You're gonna get hit. This is a fight. But you need to pick your gloves up. Let's move forward. Walk in. One of my favorite fighters. He walks forward like this. He's an idiot sometimes. And it's not the guy we're thinking of. It's Justin. You gotta go. I'll see you, bro. See you at school tomorrow. He walks in a fire like this, high guard. He's just walking in. And he gets put down like almost every time he fights. He gets hit hard every time he fights. But he's constantly just walking forward like this, covering up, shielding up, high guard. Why? Because he understands he's in a fight. And even though he gets hit, maybe he could get some offense going. Maybe he could hit harder back. Maybe he could avoid a shot or take a shot, throw his own, and move forward, get consistent. And once he gets in that consistent groove, he tends to win. But in times where he loses his guard, where he gets hit and he's backing up straight up. Oh, I shouldn't do this. It's going to hurt my knee. But he's backing straight up, not moving out of the way, not moving side to side, not trying to get out of the way of punches. He's backing straight up. He's just taking punches. He's not, there's no fight in him. There's no like, yo, we got to go. We got to move. He's just backing up. By the time he knows it, he's out the door. He's finished. Someone gets him down and out. Someone gets him to tap, to submit, to quit. Because he doesn't pick his gloves up and acknowledge the fact he's in a fight. A lot of us, and it happens, and it'll happen, and it happened before. You got put down. Pick your gloves up. Your gloves are there not just for you to throw punches. They're there to protect you. So fight, contend. You want to get consistent? Contend. Crucify. Crucify. Deny yourself. And I know it's hard. I know it hurts. Fighting hurts. You've never been punched. You have little siblings, even when when like a little sibling jumps up and it hits you in like the jaw or the nose, and it's just like, oh, that stings, and you kind of want to just, you brat. You don't want to do that. Just kidding. That was dumb. But it hurts. Fighting a spiritual battle hurts. You're in pain, distraught. You're tired, frustrated. If you've been in any sport where you're constantly moving, at the end of the fight, you're done. You're tired. It hurts. I want to remind you that if God called or commanded you to do something, do you guys need to go? I see you guys looking out the door. You good? If you guys need to go, if a parent comes by, I don't know if they're done. If they come by and they're like, we gotta go, just go. You're good. Sorry, by the way. If God called or commanded you to do something, it means he equipped you to do it first. Galatians 2:20 says, I have been crucified with Christ. And I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. It's not me who lives. It is not this old version of me. Not the weak, the angry, the lustful, the prideful, the incapable, the inconsistent me, but Christ, the beginning and the end, Alpha and Omega, the Good Shepherd, the Almighty, the Everlasting, the Faithful One, the one who conquered death, lives in you when you need to resist and say, that's not who I am anymore. Why? Who are you now? The one who lives in me is Christ, the one who conquered death. If he could walk on water, he can carry you over anxiety. If he could silence a storm with his words, he can handle your stress and whatever's stressing you out. If he conquered death in 3 days, he can fight your year-long addiction. You can do it. You can be consistent. 91% of Christians and 95% of the world struggle with being consistent.